All right, Newegg, they pulled through for me, and pretty much overnight shipping. I got a computer case. It's straight off the boat at the port in Long Beach. There's no exterior branding on it or anything, but if you've gone on Newegg before, and if you're a shopper on Newegg, you have probably seen this little case on there. It's kind of a cool looking little case. It doesn't have a drive bay or anything like that, but it does have a USB 3.0 plug. It's a pretty basic little case, but it looks pretty good in my opinion. And I got the 450 watt EVGA. That case was only $17.26. That was without a mail-in rebate, and with tax and shipping and everything, $54.67 for a case and a nice power supply. So you guys have seen these, you know, EVGA power supplies before, but I'm going to open it anyways and just check it out, do like a little mini critique of it, not really a review, just like what I think of it. And we're going to do the same thing with this case. So let's get the razor knife and open these things up. Alright, let's start with this PSU. I'm here at the house alone today, so my kids are inside screaming at each other, and I think I'm going to go tell them to quiet down. Stop screaming! Hey! Stop screaming! I'm trying to film a video and I can hear you guys. Alright. Now that that's taken care of, I really think that these EVGA power supplies are the absolute best deal. I mean, when you can get a 450 watt power supply for $29.99, that's just ridiculous. And you know, there's a lot of people that are kind of new to computers and all that stuff, and I remember a time when I was like completely ignorant about pretty much everything computer related. But when you're looking at a power supply, I mean, it's nice to have a high wattage, but if you don't pay attention to the amps available and whether or not the power supply has one 12 volt rail or it's split into two 12 volt rails, you can wind up buying like a 600 watt power supply with like 18 amps available, and that's just totally horrible, and it's really bad marketing. It should be illegal. Let's see how nice this thing looks. I don't like messing up boxes too much, not any more than I have to. Alright, now that's what I'm talking about. Nice clean wires, sleeved and black. You don't want any of the ketchup and mustard stuff these days. Not when you can get one with nice sleeved wires for $29.99. Let's see. I mean, that's just a nice looking solid PSU. Got the embossed EVGA on there. Nice cords, nothing really that you don't need on there. It's just kind of like the essentials, you know what I mean? Your 24 pin power. Oh, those are nice and flexible too. Look at that. A lot of these cheaper PSUs are just like, can't even bend them, they're so stiff. So that's nice. It makes cable management a lot easier when stuff is flexible. So you got your 24 pin, you got your CPU pin, you got some Molex, and I think this one's a floppy. Your VGA PCIe 6-pin with a second one on there in case you're SLI or crossfiring. And we got 4 SATA plugs. So that's awesome. That's really all we need. No frills, just the perfect amount of plugs, and you can't beat it for 29 bucks. Alright, let's get this thing out of the way and move on to what I really want to check out, the computer case. We put absolutely no branding on here at all. It's just straight off the boat, and who knows, there might be other companies out there buying this case in bulk and calling it something totally different than the Xeon gaming series. Let's check it out. I have high hopes for it. It gets pretty good reviews. You know, some people totally just tear it apart and say it's completely just a piece of shit. And then most people are just like, you know, for the price that you pay, this thing is amazing. So let's see if we can pull this thing out of here without killing it. Got some nice packing on each end. Is there something bouncing around there, like a fan or something? Oh, it's on its back. Oh, that's a nice little case. It's tiny. It's smaller than it looks in the picture, that's for sure. And it's got a nice mesh front. Nice, good airflow. The rear. The one thing I didn't like about this case, it doesn't bug me that much, but the one thing that I can really knock it for is having the power supply up top instead of below. I mean, it's a cheap case. It is what it is, but I do prefer the power supply to be at the bottom. Not for any reason except for the weight transfer, you know what I mean? When it's kind of top heavy when you got the power supply at the top versus down at the bottom. But it's got really, it's not, I mean it's thin, but it's not like absurdly thin, like it's gonna just fall apart. It doesn't have captive screws, which is understandable at this price point. But little tiny no frills door. It's pretty thin, but nothing crazy. This fan just comes sitting in there, and it's pretty much junk. Look at that. I mean, this is probably the biggest complaint that everybody has about this case, is that this fan usually is loud or it quits within a short time frame. So I don't know, I'll probably throw one of my fans in there that I have, depending on how bad this thing is. It does have blue LEDs, and I'm not entirely, you know, thrilled about running blue LEDs on this thing, but who knows, maybe I'll get an RGB fan for the front. And there you go, you got a USB 2, USB 3, nice little power button that feels, that feels nice and clicky. Got the reset button. And let's see what we got here. Everything's tied off. Got a nice little bag of screws for the hard drives and the fan. I'm not sure exactly what this little thing is for right here, but I'm sure it says something about it in the instructions. If there was instructions, that's one thing I'm not seeing. There's absolutely no instruction manual or anything like that, which isn't a big deal, but it's got pre-installed standoffs. It's really kind of cramped in there, to tell you the truth. I didn't realize that this, I mean, I saw the pictures and everything, but it just looks a lot smaller than it did in the pictures. This is kind of just obstructing pretty much everything, and if I wasn't scared about this thing supporting so much of the case, I might like even cut it back or something. I'm a little bit bummed that they can't you know, put a little bulge on this back side just to allow for a little bit of cable management. I mean, how hard would that be to, you know, press that in there and allow for a little cable management? Let's see. There we go. Pretty much an identical panel to the front one. As you can see, there's pretty much no gap between, you know, this panel and the motherboard tray. So routing stuff behind the motherboard is pretty much not going to happen at all. So there it is. Let's see how easy these go back on. Oh yeah, nice and easy. So I'm sure you guys know to be careful with these cheaper cases as far as screwing stuff down. Just as soon as they start feeling tight, you want to pretty much stop, or you're going to strip something out. Alright, there it is, the little tiny gaming case. It's kind of looking cramped in there, but we'll see how it works out. Next step, get a motherboard in this thing. See how it goes. Anyways, guys, see you in the next one. Peace.